Similar, guys. I just come back from a run. I don't feel like running. Um, but it's one of those things, it's a Friday. Chances are I'm just going to be drinking a little bit more. Chances are I'm just going to have a lot of takeouts tonight. So, it's kind of like saving and putting money in the bank, knowing what you're going on holiday type of thing. That's how I view it. I wanted to do this video around intermittent fasting. I've had a couple of mates, couple of colleagues ask me about it, going from December, and our diets were crazy in December. We ate whatever we could see, and them wanting to lose a bit of weight now at the beginning of the year, being January. So I said, okay, let me do a video. I think I've done a video before, but let me just do another video, because again, we hear these words, intermittent fasting or eating once a day, whatever the case may be, but fuck, it's hard, guys. It is so hard. Some people might like to make it seem as if it's a simplistic overnight thing and boom, your body changes. It's really not. And it's a lifestyle change, and like any other lifestyle change, it needs to be done slowly but surely. And the key is the consistency, So before I have a jump into how I would recommend you start your interfasting journey, let me actually break down fasting and the benefits of fasting. So for those that don't know, fasting is when you refrain from eating. There's different types of fasting. So there's a water fast where you can still drink water. There's a fast where you can drink soup fast where you can only drink soups. There's a dry fast where there's no food, no water whatsoever. So again, it differs. Some people want to fast where when the sun comes up, so when the sun sets, they can't eat or drink anything. And then when the sun sets, and then they can eat and drink. So it's different. And here I'm talking about intermittent fasting, meaning that you're eating intermittently. So again, let's break down fasting. So fasting 4 to 6 hours from your last meal, 4 to 6 hours. So again, if I had my last meal at let's say 6 a.m., so by the time I hit around 10, 11, 12-ish, what starts happening to my body? So my stomach starts emptying out. I release then a hunger hormone, Again, I ate at 6, it's 12, I need to eat again because I release that hunger hormone. My insulin levels drop and my blood glucose levels also drop, meaning that I don't have energy, I feel sluggish, I need to eat, I need to replenish. That's what happens in my body, like 4 to 6 hours. That's why after that time, what do? We eat again, So if you can hit through that first 4 to 6 hours, what happens 6 to 12 hours? So if my last meal was at 6 a.m. and the time is around, like, let's say now 5 in the afternoon, 5 p.m., what happens is that my digestive system starts to rest, it starts to calm down. My glucose stores starts getting assessed. So again, your body stores energy in forms of glucose. It's stored energy. So now it starts getting into that space, and then the fat burning then starts. It's the beginning of your fat burning process. What is fat? Fat is stored energy. I don't care how well you eat. If you eat more than what your body needs, your body will store that energy. So whether you're drinking almond milk, you are having a vegan diet, you are this and that, if you're consuming more than your body needs, it will store that as fat. So between 6 to 12 hours, then I start tapping into that space of my stored energy being my fat. 12 to 24 hours. This is when the fucking magic starts happening. So at that point, ketones are produced. What are ketones? Ketones are chemicals that my liver produces, which then allows me to start burning fat. I don't know if that makes sense. If people talk about ketosis or a ketone diet, whatever the case may be, they're talking about trying to rev up those chemicals that my liver produces in order for me to really start burning fat. So that's a great thing. But that happens, again, 12 to 24 hours. So if I ate at 6 a.m., probably around 8 at night, that's when my body starts really ramping up that fat burning stage. At this stage, you increase in growth hormone. So again, growth hormone is great because again, it allows you to build more muscle. It allows you to replenish certain cells that might have been broken down, whatever the case may be. But it's a really great thing. I know a lot of people in the bodybuilding space illegally use growth hormone from an artificial source to actually ramp up their gymming program to help them with repairing and so that they can train again and get bigger and stronger quicker. But your body naturally produces your growth hormone. So again, after 12 to 24 hours of eating nothing, then your body naturally produces that as well. How do you say this word? Autophagy? I think that's how you say it. But I've seen this word before, autophagy, and it speaks to, correct me in the comments, but it speaks to when your body, actually I can Google this. Why am I even wasting my time? You know, so that I just don't mess it up for you guys. Autophagy, yeah, autophagy. I think I said it right. So again, it's when your body's process of reusing old and damaged cell parts. So that's such a great thing, you know, because we all have these damaged cells in our body, all over our body, from our head to our toes, and it's a great part where all of a sudden between 12 to 24 hours, your body then can start healing itself. You know, your body starts using old damaged cells in a positive way, and then again, stored fat is now easily utilized, and your insulin levels are like at a zero, you know. So obviously at that point, for many people, they feel like shut down, you know, because your insulin levels and your blood sugar levels is really low, but your body's starting to find other sources of energy, guys, which is the fat around your stomach here, your bejeje, your love handles. That's when your body starts tapping into that, into all those stores, and your digestive system starts to repair itself. You know, what happens when you go further in a day, you know? So I ate my last meal at 6 a.m. All of a sudden, it's the following day at 7 a.m. and I haven't eaten yet, you know? So from 24 to 48 hours, what then starts happening is that my growth hormone then really starts to spike up. Boom. Starts to spike up, you know, anti-aging, you know, plickety-plow, looking all sexy, you know, your fat burning is at its absolute peak. You know, that's just that after a full day of not eating, going into 2 days of not eating. If you're one of those big boys that actually really are very strong-minded and are very disciplined, then you can go further than 2 days. So going from 48 to 72 hours, that's now really the deep, hot stuff. So for those guys, all of a sudden your immune system resets. You know, you get to regenerate things or rebuild things that you never knew, you know, from taste buds to skin cells to whatever you want. It starts, you know, your mental health. So your dopamine pathways start to clear up. All those little things that we take for granted on an everyday, it fixes. If you've got inflammation, I've got arthritis on my elbow, on my ankles, whatever, all of a sudden your inflammation starts to decrease dramatically. You know, it starts to heal very rapidly. And then again, ketosis and fat burning is like exponentially high. So those type of things, you know, if you can go 48 to 72 hours are amazing. For me, I'm here to really talk about intermittent fasting. So again, we're trying to live in that 6 to 12 hour range, you know, of not eating. If you can go a little bit more, then great for you. But that's where we're trying to live, where we can just get into that fat burning zone and get our bodies used to that. So again, so what are the benefits of intermittent fasting? What we're trying to do is that we're trying to boost our metabolism. You know, we're trying to essentially shrink our stomachs. You know, with the time of thingy of not eating, we're trying again to be in a situation where we can remove wasted cells, we can get into that fat burning zone, and then really start to lose weight while at the same time getting clarity and not feeling sluggish all day. So yes, it took me a while to get to this point. Let me just put my laptop aside. How do you do that? It's fun and games to say eat once a day, but it's hard, guys. It's really hard. So my hack of intermittent fasting is making sure you can have a eating window, you know. So instead of just going, oh, I'll eat once a day and go 12. If you come from a December where you were eating 10 times a day, whatever you wanted to eat, it's going to break you. And all of a sudden, intermittent fasting is going to become a punishment. And then what tends to happen is that your body hates it when you punish yourself, and your body's going to resist even more than it ever has. So run away from that. What I tell guys and what I've advised a lot of my friends that have called me around intermittent fasting is create a window. You know, create a 9-hour window where you can eat however many times, whatever, you know, because you want to slowly change your lifestyle. You don't want to just, you know, because the is what makes you crash, you know. So you want to slowly change your lifestyle and say, okay, Sharp, I've got a 9-hour window. So my 9-hour window is between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or you can say from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Whatever you want to break down your 9-hour window. And if you even weaker than that, then you can give yourself a bit of grace, be kind, and say a 10-hour window, and say, I eat between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. at night, and then stick to that window that you have created, not I created for you, that you have created for yourself, and stick there and say, okay, for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to hell or high water, going to eat between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. I can eat whatever I want. I can go to McDonald's, I can do whatever, my normal diet, as long as it's within that time frame. And then what we're trying to do gradually with time is that we are trying to make that eating time smaller and smaller. So initially, if it was between 10 and 7 p.m., then you can try and push it to 10:30 and 7 p.m., 11 and 7 p.m., 12 and 7 p.m. All of a sudden you can then, when you start measuring it, imagine after 2 months you are able to have your first meal at 12 in the afternoon, maybe your second meal at 3, and then your last meal at 5:45, just for numbers sake. Then you are able to then go from, again, 6 p.m. to midnight without eating, that's 6 hours. From midnight to 6 a.m., that's 12 hours where you're not eating, and then plus that's 18 hours, going back to what we're talking about, in 18 hours time, you're getting into ketosis. So you burning all your fat, but you can still, once 12 o'clock hits in the afternoon, eat again whatever you want. Again, guys, ideally, first price, you want to get to a point where you're eating once a day and you're eating very clean, where you're having a very, very well-balanced meal with your proteins, your healthy fats, your carbs. That's the ideal. That's the first price. But I'm trying to walk you through getting to that point. So before you're so mad and some people throw hate and comments and we're trying to create a lifestyle change, a discipline. And if it means, again, that you say, because some of us, we wake up and we eat donuts at 2 o'clock in the morning. We wake up and we eat chips at 10 o'clock at night. If I can just say, it doesn't matter, I'm going to give myself a 12-hour eating window from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sharp, but stick to that 12-hour window where with time, I'm trying to make sure that my window is getting less and less and less. I remember when I started doing intermittent fasting in 2016, and I remember I started it was January, and I was weighing around 93 kgs. And that's exactly what I did. I made sure, I only started eating at a certain time. At that time, I was still in education, so it was easy to distract myself in the morning. Because again, I used to wake up, I used to get to gym, from gym, I was at school, and then you teach. By the time you look up, it's like break, it's like 12 o'clock, So you're like, oh, snap. And at that time, what I did, for my first meal, I'd always have like 2 wheat bix, little 2 wheat bix, just for me to have something, and then again, eat 2 little wheat bix, go sports. By the time I realized the time used to be like 3:30, I'd drive by McDonald's, I'd have 2 Big Mac meals, like chips, drink, burger, chips, milk, drink, burger. And I'd sit down and done. And then my body was so full at like 3:30, 4, and I wouldn't have to eat again till the following day at 12. But that took time for me to get there. So again, you find little hacks that work within your body. I went from like 93 to 83 in a matter of like 3 months. That's crazy, guys. While I was training every single morning. So it wasn't like I wasn't training. Like I saw cuts and abs on abs. I've still got pictures on my Instagram where I look at myself and go, yes, so why am I doing? Hey, is that Photoshop? Nah, fam, it was me, because again, I wasn't constantly grazing like a cow. I don't care if you're constantly grazing, a little bit of almonds, a little bit of grapes, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. If you are not utilizing this energy that you're consuming, your body will store it and it will be fat. And again, people say you can't out-train a bad diet. If you are South African and you look at construction workers, if you ever see construction workers and you look at their diet, these guys are eating in they're eating the most unhealthiest food. But if you look at how vascular these guys are just ripped like township fighting dogs. Because again, they are making sure that they are burning an incredible amount of fat every day. They wake up, they have a 2 liter of a masi, next thing or 10 6 slice afternoon they're having in these guys are eating all day, but they are burning a crap load. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to burn more than what we are consuming. Without counting calories and getting crazy into that, we are trying to burn more than what we are consuming. People get lost in this is how many calories or this is how many steps. What does that really mean in the reality of the world? Do you know how many calories go into a kg? Do you know how many of those steps that you're talking about going to a kilometer? Some of us get lost in this technical world of nothingness, and we forget to the aim ultimately is to burn more than what you are utilizing. Unlike your bank account where you're trying to save more than what you are using in this world of fat, because we all have fat reserve, we are trying to burn more energy than what we are currently consuming, and as a result tap into those fat reserves that all of us have. All of us aren't super duper happy with our bodies. We can all do a little bit better. Guys, it's not cool being fat. It's not cool being fat. I'm here to assist you. I get how difficult that journey is. Create that eating window with time. Don't punish your fucking self in that window. Eat what makes you happy in that window. But once that window closes, it's tomorrow's problem again, where you can enjoy those things. And with time, as you get used to this, as your lifestyle changes, get the window smaller and smaller and smaller, to a point where you're trying to get it to, like, I only eat within a 3-hour window. My 3-hour window is between freaking 2 and 5 in the afternoon. That's my 3-hour window, and I can eat whatever I want. I could have waffles, I can have this. What you will realize is that as this continues, your stomach naturally will start getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and all of a sudden your portions will get smaller and smaller, and you're like, geez, I'm full. I can't eat anymore. And when you eat something, it'll stretch and you'll feel uncomfortable. With time, you'll be like, no, it's fine. I'll just have half a sandwich, and you'll feel fine, because then what happens is that your body understands how to utilize these nutrients more effectively, and how to utilize dead skin cells, dead body cells, how to utilize and tap into your fat reserves again, so that you can get the body that you deserve and get the health that your family and yourself really need. Guys, in Gentanda, I want nothing but the best. Please share, like, hit that notification bell. I hope you guys a blessed Friday. Don't drink and drive. Manage your alcohol, manage your takeouts, manage your fast food, and eating food. I wouldn't find that, you guys. Comment below what you think. Add a bit of advice. It's a community. We're all learning. We're all growing together. Sharp.